The boss has developed a love addiction. He wants to fall in love and get married. Without hesitation, I arranged everything for the boss. On the list, whether they were handsome men or muscular guys, or tall, short, thick, or thin, there was everything one could imagine. I was dazzled by the choices, but the boss's face turned dark. Why am I not on this list? I sighed. I'm the one signing your work contracts. It's not a marriage contract. You're giving me this measly salary. And now you want to take my kidney or what? The boss attended a wedding, and when he came back, he said, I want to fall in love and get married. Wow, I had always thought the boss had no needs down there. Turns out he had needs after all. So, Assistant Wu, what do you think? I felt immensely relieved. I nodded firmly. You've always should have thought this way. As my loyal assistant, don't you think? You should. I understand we've known each other for many years. When Liu Ryan tilted his hips, I knew exactly what mess he was about to make. I slapped my chest and promised Liu Ryan, I'll take care of your happiness for the rest of your life. Liu Ryan was half convinced, but my determined gaze made him think, maybe ... I immediately picked up my little notebook. With a professional attitude, I interviewed Liu Ryan. Mr. Liu, what are your standards for choosing a partner? Anything's fine. I paused for a moment. The seductive smile on my face froze instantly. Well, Liu Ryan, are you intentionally trying to make things difficult for me? Then can we hire our company's janitor instead? Today, I must defy Assistant Wu. With your attitude toward work, how about switching with the janitor position instead? A perfect knockout. I didn't dare say a word. I quickly ran off to organize the blind date list for Liu Ryan. But there are thousands of eligible men in the city, aimlessly searching for a suitable match for Liu Ryan. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Over the next few days, I frequently visited Liu Ryan's office, just to subtly figure out his ideal type. Unexpectedly, rumors around the office started to spread again. Mr. Liu and assistant were always making eyes at each other. When are they going public? Being public about it isn't even the kind of relationship they have. Then what kind of relationship is it? I personally heard Long asking Liu for money. People in the restroom were gossiping heatedly. Some were talking about taking paid breaks while getting constipated. I pulled up my pants and stormed out, breaking through the door. Am I not allowed to ask for a raise as a humble 9T05 worker? Is asking for a raise too much? My colleagues, caught off guard, panicked and ran away. I chased after them, explaining, I just want Liu Ryan's money, not his body. To keep my reputation intact, I must quickly push forward Liu Ryan's blind date plans. And I must casually bring up his need for a blind date. And without trying to be subtle, I made his blind date plans public. But then the receptionist let it slip. Tell me what the gossip in the office is about. Now they've changed their tune, saying you're willingly the man behind Mr. Liu, not seeking to climb the ladder. Low EQ, you're the third party being kept. High EQ, you're the man behind him. When it comes to the art of language, at this point, I couldn't care less. Let's just go straight to the blind date candidates. Based on the ranking of quality men on the list, I confidently arranged a blind date for Liu Ryan. The result? The first date ended in a total failure. He didn't fancy you. As the chief planner of Liu Ryan's blind date debut, I must know the reason for the failure. Liu Ryan hesitated. Well, I guess so. I looked at Liu Ryan's stunning face again and again. That shouldn't be the case. What did you guys talk about? He immediately asked me if I wanted to go to his place to see his cat. I had an ominous feeling. Who does he think he's looking down on? I already have a cat. Hearing this, I was so shocked that I stumbled a little. I had to hold onto the table to steady myself. That one short sentence. I didn't even know where to start with the complaints. In my personal opinion, this was a pretty stupid display. But Liu Ryan has gotten to where he is. It must be because I, Wu Fang, have trained him well. I only needed to teach him once. No more words. I directly gave him A hands-on demonstration. I showed Liu Ryan, textbook-level example. With years of experience reading novels, and my skills in Liao style, I opened my mouth and crookedly smiled. I rudely but gently pinched his waist. I lightly mimicked the gesture on myself. Then, in a restrained and patient voice, I whispered in his ear, "Be good, smile, and I'll give you my life." I mentally visualized the scene. It was greasy and intoxicating, but Liu Ryan didn't appreciate my effort. Instead, he sarcastically mocked my good intentions. "When you were discharged from the hospital, I strongly opposed it." "Liu Ryan, how can you speak like this? How could you say that?" Liu Ryan scoffed, sighed repeatedly, and shook his head. "I actually thought I could learn something from you. Do you look down on me?" Let me show Liu Ryan my remarkable abilities. Liu Ryan's second blind date. I attended as his assistant, an 8-person blind date, as long as I'm not embarrassed. It's them who'll feel embarrassed. Just pretend I'm not here. The next second, Liu Ryan truly acted like I didn't exist. He gently clinked glasses with the handsome guy. His parents were in the luxury goods industry. "Is there a style that would suit me?" I screamed inwardly. "Compliment him, quick, compliment him. Say every style suits you." As long as I could make the handsome guy's heart bloom with joy. This matter might just work out. It could become our company's flagship product this quarter. Very good, especially if you buy in bulk. I can give you a discount. Something feels off. Why does this feel like a business transaction? I cleared my throat twice. I tried to remind Liu Ryan to know when to stop. "Assistant Wu, if your throat hurts, you should drink more hot water." My enthusiasm has its limits. I advised Liu Ryan to be careful. But the handsome guy continued. "Luxury goods can indeed enhance a person's temperament." Liu Ryan nodded in agreement. "So, do you want to buy them? I'll give you a discount." Having a boss so committed to closing a sale, really, it's a blessing. I heard that the high-end luxury goods industry is incredibly profitable. It's a business that reaps huge rewards. It was clear that the handsome guy was trying his best to keep the conversation going. But then my professional instinct kicked in. The boss had no sense of romance at all. "That's not the case. If you think it's too expensive, I can give you a discount." Liu Ryan, this guy is so stubborn. He won't listen. 3 sentences in, and it's all about luxury goods. Every sentence has a discount offer. Discount, discount. "Liu Ryan, do you believe I'll give you a discount on your legs?" "Hey, Mr. Liu." The conversation was getting off track. Hearing this, I was utterly heartbroken. I was pulling my hair out. It was truly painful. But even though my throat felt like it was about to bleed, I couldn't stop Liu Ryan, this oddball, from continuing to push the sales. Liu Ryan still acted like I didn't exist. He started talking about the design concept of this quarter's flagship product. I watched helplessly as the expression on the handsome guy's face changed. It was getting more and more awkward. A blind date with no common topics. That's basically how it goes. I couldn't take it anymore and turned to Liu Ryan. "This is a blind date. Don't just talk about work all the time. Am I not sharing my life?" I could see the blind date was about to fail again. But it seemed like nothing could change Liu Ryan's mind. I almost forgot Liu Ryan, the workaholic. Work is his life. But it still made me clench my fists in frustration. "This is a blind date. Talk more about the other person." Liu Ryan paused for a moment, looking as if he wasn't very clever. Then I realized he really wasn't very clever. "Sir, well, the diamond on your watch isn't visibly fake to the naked eye. I'm sure this is a moissanite. You've been tricked by those resellers." Liu Ryan, coming from a top-tier luxury goods family, hadn't I like a magnifying glass? However, this kind of professional skill, he shouldn't be showing it off during a blind date. Didn't you see the expression on the handsome guy's face? Like he was digging his toes into the ground? Is he giving up? Well, then I'll give up too. I cleared my throat and abruptly started a new topic. "That handsome guy. Can you accept a brief romance?" The handsome guy shook his head, confused. Well, you see, Mr. Liu says, we shouldn't let one man monopolize us for too long. The handsome guy's face changed drastically, because it wouldn't be fair to the other men who admire her. Let me be the bad guy and resolve this awkward situation. The handsome guy finally couldn't take it anymore, stood up and angrily cursed at the girl. Liu Ryan's beautiful face was met with a cup of lukewarm water. That night, 3 more people in the city couldn't sleep, falling from beauty. And just staying where you fall, I decided to arrange another blind date for Liu Ryan. This time, the other person was a third-tier male celebrity. I don't even need to elaborate on his looks and temperament. It's well known that celebrities have their flaws. But I guess this male celebrity's looks and figure were definitely outstanding. As for Liu Ryan, I looked him up and down and came to a conclusion. I think your blind date failed. Not because of your looks, but because of your temperament. They say details decide success or failure. The keys to a Rolls Royce accidentally showing in your bag are the kinds of little details that change your temperament. I generously opened my purse and meticulously gave Liu Ryan the key to a successful date. I prepared a set of outfits that would absolutely attract men's attention, and they would never go out of style. Once a woman turns 20, she shouldn't dress like a child anymore. This outfit, though simple, would make Liu Ryan look much more attractive. That would still make Liu Ryan seem somewhat charming. I gave a thumbs up. I praised Liu Ryan to the skies. Mr. Liu, you're so handsome. You must be making that young man fall head over heels for you. However, Liu Ryan tried to resist. What kind of taste do you have? Just dress like this? Can't you pick something better? Fine, I admit defeat, I lose. Anyway, it's not me who'll be receiving those strange looks. But I clearly underestimated the intelligence of the evil capitalist. If you lose, how about I deduct 1 month's salary? Playing is one thing, but don't joke about deducting wages. Such capitalists who casually deduct wages, if we don't overthrow them, they will surely be a great danger to us lowly workers. I suddenly felt, I'm doing all of this for your own good. Whoever has to suffer, it shouldn't be me. And no one should make Liu Ryan suffer either. That has always been the mission of a thoughtful assistant like me. Liu Ryan stood in front of the mirror, looking at himself in this nouveau rich outfit. His mouth twitched a few times. Although your intentions are good, the mistake was that you shouldn't have started this in the first place. My heart ached deeply. I felt like an innocent subject, constantly doubted and mistrusted by the ruler. Such an image was born from this. Mr. Liu, the old minister is truly loyal to you. I said seriously, raising my left fist. I almost wished I could bring out my conscience, which may or may not exist, and show it to Liu Ryan. But Liu Ryan only glanced at me indifferently. If I get caught in the rain, don't even say it. You're definitely the one who tore my umbrella apart. That was the end of my villainous minister image. I had already deeply penetrated Liu Ryan's heart. How could I regain the ruler's favor? I'm waiting online. This is urgent. Hearing is not as good as seeing for yourself. This time, the male celebrity didn't flop after all. At least from the outside, he seemed suitable. This is Mr. Liu, the CEO of Liu Ryan. And this is actor Mr. Yang Taiwei. I heard there's some controversy about Mr. Yang's age. They say he was born in 1992. Is that true? Who starts by asking about someone's age? Without showing any emotion, I kicked Liu Ryan under the table. Through gritted teeth, I said, Mr. Liu, you're a bit too beautiful. I personally think a blind date should be more sincere. It seemed like there wasn't much wrong with that. The male celebrity awkwardly coughed. I think age isn't an issue when two people are together. 2 people? You're sure? Shouldn't it be 3 people? What do you mean by 3 people? Liu Ryan subtly implied. I should leave now. What a sarcastic tone. I angrily stood up. But Liu Ryan pressed me back down. I wasn't talking about you. The male celebrity looked guilty and hairedly fled. It's just the 2 of you. Look, you've chased one away again. My anger was about to scorch the entire restaurant. Do you know who this is? I hesitated before answering. Third-tier actor Yang Taiwei, I added. The third-tier actor Yang Taiwei added. He's also Zhao Mei's current boyfriend. Our company's vice president. Didn't expect both sides were hiding things so deeply. People in the city really know how to have fun. The next day, Liu Ryan and the male celebrity trended on Weibo. Male star dines with a rich second-generation heir. The rich heir's reputation as a harvester was truly earned, so he's not only Zhao Mei's boyfriend, but also a habitual lover of rich second-generation heirs. The male celebrity's studio quickly issued a one-sided response. Please focus on the artist's work and stay away from their private life. Refuse paparazzi and following. The entertainment industry's PR rule. If you don't deny, it's considered as admitting. Is my ventilator and emergency heart medication here? I haven't even been revived yet. And Liu Ryan has already stormed into the company. Uncle, listen to me. It's not what you think. Assistant, you don't have to cover up for that troublemaker. Watch me not make her pick her teeth up from the floor. Liu Ryan had strict family discipline. She absolutely would not allow any association with male celebrities with bad reputations. So Liu Ryan, enraged, was about to storm in and deal with the situation. But if she went in from here, I would have to leave through this way. Oh no, that won't do. I can't let this happen. Wait a second. Why do I feel like I'm that foolish emperor? Blocking the Empress Dowager's top official? Doesn't matter, I'll stop her anyway. Just as I was desperately trying to stop Liu Ryan, the office door suddenly opened slightly. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse. That bastard Liu Ryan was peeking through the gap in the door. He smiled at me with ill intentions. As expected, he had foreseen this moment from the start. But he didn't say anything, although Liu Ryan was eventually lectured for a long time by his father. But it wasn't enough to relieve my frustration. I immediately took a picture of Liu Ryan's back and posted it on a secondhand seafood market website. The new boss, a novice in social matters, had his reputation shattered, but the online buyers were no knights. Sitting in front of the screen, I smiled smugly. I immediately decided to take a more aggressive approach to ruin his reputation. Long-term plans. I want you in my office within 1 minute. Bad news for him, slandering the boss. And when the boss catches you, good news is routine now. Hey, Liu Ryan, just wait until it's quitting time. I'm not going. He was going crazy waiting for my reply. Liu Ryan went off to summon me as the big scapegoat. Boss, he patted my lawyer. Luoxiang has been sentenced to 3 years. It's all a misunderstanding. Just wait a moment. The only thing near me is my body. My burning soul is always proud and unbowed. Wait, I'm not letting you get close to my body either. I'm not afraid at all. I walked proudly towards Liu Ryan's office, my head held high like a young scout helping an elderly man cross the street. What do you want from me? Spit it out, I'm leaving soon. Punching the clock, it's quitting time. I'm out at the dot. With this kind of salary, it's not worth me putting in any more effort. What's the concept of 50 million? Based on my current salary and year-end bonus, if I stop eating, drinking, or spending, I'd have to start working all the way back to the Jiaqing era of the Qing dynasty. What did Liu Ryan say next? I didn't hear it. My mind was consumed by 50,000 yuan. Assistant, I'm talking to you. Why are you shouting so loudly? Got it, your brother, I know. Liu Ryan glanced at her watch. Sure enough, it was past working hours. One must separate public and private matters. During work hours, Liu Ryan is my respected boss. But once the workday ends, Liu Ryan is my longtime enemy. At Liu Ryan's urging, I casually arranged a blind date for her. But the guy started with a blunt, no way. All these years. You still stick to Liu Ryan like a stubborn plaster, following her around like a dog. I could feel his intense hostility towards me. But it made me uneasy. His tone suggested he'd known me for a long time. "Who are you?" Liu Ryan, from the side, lazily chimed in. "Lee Crossing, what's it to you?" My archenemy, Lee Crossing. Back in school, Lee didn't suspected that I had feelings for him. Even though I was just a plain girl, my family went bankrupt. He didn't hesitate to kick me when I was down. But what really stung was that behind my back, he slandered my reputation, saying I was dangling the goddess I had in front of him, while secretly being tangled up with Liu Ryan, to the point where the entire school knew I was a heartless playboy. Today, when enemies meet, it's especially intense. Seeing my former enemy doing well, I gritted my teeth so hard, I thought I'd crush my molars. "Aren't you called Li Mingyu?" No matter what, I just couldn't make the handsome guy in front of me match the Li Din in my memories. "I get it now. You changed your name, huh? Li Din, you're something else. Call me Li Mingyu." I pulled a funny face. "Not just that. I'm going to make him so mad." I threw my arm around Liu Ryan's shoulder. Then I let his head rest on mine. Pinching my throat, I forced out the words with a high-pitched voice. "Mr. Liu, he's so arrogant. How could he ever be good enough for you?" Li Mingyu stomped his foot in fury. He cursed, "So disgusting. Li Mingyu, definitely." I smiled sweetly, but then my expression turned cold. "I don't approve of this marriage. I'll find someone better for you. Someone 10,000 times better than him." My angry expression was like a chancellor stopping Wang Baoshuan from marrying the poor boy Zhu Pingui. Fortunately, Liu Ryan didn't take it as seriously as Wang Baoshuan did, with her heart unwilling to yield. The next day, Li Mingyu came to the company to bring Liu Ryan some snacks and drinks. A classic case of the drunken man having no interest in the wine. I stepped in, handling it all as a matter of business. "Sorry, Mr. Liu doesn't like sweets." Li Din directly bypassed me. "It's fine, I also brought savory salted biscuits. Mr. Liu will definitely like them." I charged forward without hesitation. I blocked the door. I stopped him again. "Sorry, Mr. Liu has no sense of taste. Nothing tastes good to him." As for when he lost his sense of taste, well, that's now. Since you're here anyway, I'll just give Mr. Liu a quick hello. Li Din insisted on barging in, so I desperately tried to stop him. But in this struggle, as we pulled back and forth, I accidentally pushed his artificial nose out of place. Watching his deformed nose, I saw several thousand in debt waving at me. In the aftermath, Li Din indeed blackmailed me for several thousand. That added insult to injury for my already struggling family. My savings were already minimal, and now I was so poor I couldn't even afford meat anymore. I awkwardly gathered up the courage and weakly asked, "Boss, can the company reimburse me?" No reimbursement, and this is a personal grudge. When I heard that there would be no reimbursement, my anger flared up. If it weren't for you, I would never have had to deal with Li Din. Fighting and brawling is a bad behavior. If I don't fire you, then you can just enjoy yourself. I was enraged. All of this was for the sake of protecting your, Liu Ryan's, reputation. So everything I did was just for you, the evil capitalist, to dictate everything. I said, "How is it that you're living in such peaceful times?" Turns out I've been carrying the weight for you all along. I couldn't swallow my frustration. I needed revenge. So I picked someone from the list, someone who was said to have the most severe case of Prince Syndrome, not for anything else, but to give Liu Ryan a truly unique blind date experience. But he didn't show up. Instead, a beautiful woman in black stockings arrived. Liu Ryan gave me a questioning look. "What's going on?" I shook my head in confusion. This was not going according to plan. "I'm here for my younger brother's blind date. Hope you don't mind." I suspected they were playing some sort of cruel game. So he really was a prince. He couldn't even show up to his own blind date. Can you really substitute someone for a blind date? You guys are going too far. The woman's expression hardened. Then, with a touch of impatience, she said, "Let's just go through the motions. There's no need for this." Liu Ryan grabbed my arm, ready to leave. "You can't just back out when things get tough. With a passionate sales pitch from me, I successfully made the woman fall for my boss. Yes, you read that right. She was flirting with my boss. Who's going to do a good deed and dig a hole for me? I jump in without a second thought. Everything about this situation was a mess. After escaping, Liu Ryan was mentally exhausted. Her energy was completely drained. She pointed at me, looking like she wanted to say something, but kept stopping herself. I shrugged helplessly. How could you blame me? He was attracted to you, after all. And that wasn't wrong at all. Assistant Wu, your efficiency is truly remarkable. Wang Heochu thought. Your charm has reached a level where both men and women fall for you. Liu Ryan made a get-lost gesture with her lips. I really did want to leave, but I couldn't break my word. To end my misery as quickly as possible, I kept arranging blind dates for Liu Ryan. But Liu Ryan's blind dates were yet another series of disasters. Without exception, the list of potential matches was getting dangerously short. From successful, independent men in their 40s to handsome university students in their 20s. I searched through every single one for you. What kind of person do you even want? I looked at those handsome guys on the list for 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, I felt my heart stir for 28 of them. But Liu Ryan, this girl had no reaction at all. You can't possibly be. Enough, put away your ridiculous thoughts. Thanks for your cooperation. This one's no good, and this one's no good either. My patience was running out. Moo, you're really hard to please. I'm done with this matchmaking business. Liu Ryan looked at me seriously. She stayed silent for a long time. Her eyes were so sorrowful. She looked like she was about to cry. Are you pretending again? Liu Ryan lowered her gaze and stopped looking at me. Actually, I've been hurt by love. Even there are men who can't be won by Liu Ryan. I immediately covered my mouth in shock, then widened my eyes in eager curiosity. Is it your white moonlight or your scarlet mark? Are you sure it's over? Liu Ryan sighed deeply. He belongs to someone else. The boss's big coat somehow ended up with me. I've only just gotten out of an emotional slump recently. I want to have a relationship with marriage as the goal. Choose whatever punishment you want to execute. But I won't use emotional weapons. In a burst of impulse, I slapped my chest, making it echo with a loud thump. Don't worry, I'll definitely help you solve this lifelong matter quickly. In the middle of the night, remembering today's events, I got up and slapped myself. How could I do this to a friend who's been emotionally wounded? A friend I've known for so many years. I'm really not a good person. To atone for my sins, I worked through the night. I sifted through 100 quality men and picked one I thought would be perfect for Liu Ryan. Yawning, I delivered the young man's profile right to Liu Ryan. Next blind date. I've arranged it for you at 7 p.m. tonight. Looks like I'm not cut out for love. You seem pretty eager though. The carefully prepared materials I gathered, Liu Ryan didn't even glance at. I understood she must still be emotionally wounded. That damn sentimental woman. A modern version of Wang Beiyushuan. I must save her. The guy's name is Zan Yang. He's a psychology researcher who studied abroad. He'll definitely be able to handle you. When the time comes, don't just talk about emotional intelligence. He'll be able to heal all your emotional wounds. Zan Yang is the son of a real estate tycoon back in the country now. Yes, it's him. Okay, but this time, you have to go with me. What if it's another woman? As they say, once bitten by a snake, you'll be afraid of a well rope for 10 years. Some things are too painful to recall. I had no choice but to nod and agree. But this blind date was surprisingly smooth. The young man, Zan Yang, seemed to be interested in getting to know Liu Ryan more. Looks like there's hope. This might actually work. My mission is finally coming to an end. Mr. Liu seems like a perfect person. I bet this guy can talk circles around me in the art of flattery. Liu Ryan praised. Thank you, you're handsome too. Looks like all my careful guidance these days didn't go to waste. I breathed a sigh of relief. I almost got too excited there for a second. If I had to point out a flaw, it would be due to some unfortunate events. His body has a few shortcomings. Well, big sister, if you're getting an appendectomy, just say so. Do you have to make it sound so alarming? She has some shortcomings. Like a lack of common sense? That guy! Don't misunderstand Mr. Liu. He just had his appendix removed. He really can't handle it. This blind date wouldn't have worked without me. Before long, the handsome guy received a call and left. One immediately gave Liu Ryan a mental slap. When you had your appendectomy, did you also remove your peanut-sized brain? The handsome guy was amazing. But forget about that blackboard business. I'm just here to stir the pot. I'm just speaking the truth. For a moment, this little genius of eloquence couldn't come up with a single word to counter. Fortunately, when the handsome guy came back, he and Liu Ryan exchanged green bubbles. In the following days, Liu Ryan, the workaholic, didn't even come to the office and asked me to tell everyone that he was out on business. I didn't believe a word of it. After all, whenever he had a business meeting, he always took me along as his assistant. I silently sighed. So this is love, huh? When it comes to romance, people really go wild. When I saw Liu Ryan again, she was positively glowing, like she was bathed in spring sunshine. Mr. Liu really seemed to be nourished by love to the point of excess. But not me. I was just an innocent chatterbox. This time, Liu Ryan surprisingly didn't snap at me. My joy was something you could never imagine. I sighed in sadness. I don't envy the couple or the immortals. I envy Mr. Liu every single day. He's got money, looks, and a handsome guy by his side. Assistant Wu, why do you look so unhappy? Mr. Liu's happiness comes from Mr. He. My happiness comes from promotions, pay raises, and holidays. I'm just an ordinary worker, nothing special. So mundane. You need to have dreams, you know? In the workplace, it's like the modern version of Why Not Eat Meat, with such a love-struck, oblivious boss. I'm really going to. Then I noticed everyone was looking at me strangely. What are you staring at? The receptionist said, the future Mr. Liu is here. Then I saw Zhan Yang come out of the elevator. Under everyone's gaze, I walked over on my own, nodding obediently and giving a smile. Mr. Zhan's sweet words are one of the few advantages I have, I thought. I didn't hold back anymore. Future, I just heard Liu Ryan mention that you two are childhood sweethearts. My sixth sense told me danger was quietly approaching. But I think at this age, you should maintain some distance from each other. Don't you agree, Zhan Yang? She's so gentle ... Her gentleness made me feel guilty toward her, even though there was nothing going on between Liu Ryan and me. I'll be on a business trip today, so I'll give you to some 3-person space. I won't be back for at least 10 days or half a month. Seriously, you can just kill me if you want. I'll just help the two of you get a little more romantic. Of course, if you plan on settling down there, that's also a good option. Done with me? The future CEO is trying to chase me out of this city. The smile that barely remained on my lips slowly faded. Maybe you don't think you're being a bit excessive? Zhan Yang handed me a card. Inside the card was 5 million. When you're far from home, you need to take good care of yourself. As expected from the future boss, his generosity was truly extravagant. To fire an employee and still give them 5 million as a settlement fee? I don't need the money. I'll leave, but this place will always be my home. I'll be back. This money feels too hot to handle. If someone finds out ... Besides, fee from the city station has already ruined my reputation. It's just not worth it. It's just a job. With Maji's abilities, he could shine anywhere. I quietly slid the resignation letter into the folder. Maybe a spontaneous trip is just what I need. On the plane leaving the city, I must have nodded off for a bit. When I opened my eyes, How was it that Liu Ryan was sitting next to me? I muttered to myself, it must be the way I opened my eyes. I'm dreaming. I lay back down and went back to sleep. But when I opened my eyes again, it was still Liu Ryan. I was stunned. What's going on? As you can see, we're on the same plane now. Listening to you feels like hearing a sermon. What a strange coincidence. Alright, tell me, what's going on here? But Liu Ryan didn't answer my question. Instead, she countered with a question. As the head of my future happiness project, you're planning to run off before the work is even done? Isn't that a bit unethical? I didn't take your money. So what if I run off? I've never been this right in my life. Since we're in the right, what do we have to fear? Call the all-powerful black card. Now you've taken it ... Why want to give me money? Just give me the money. I pretended to hesitate, gently refusing. This doesn't seem right ... To be honest, I've wanted to revive my dad's clothing company for a long time. Unfortunately, the startup capital was lacking, so I had to stay by Liu Ryan's side, playing the part of a small assistant and muddling through. But now, the chance for the Wu family to make a comeback has finally come. Just got off the plane, and now I'm waiting for the return flight. I didn't get to see the blue sky, white clouds, or the ocean, nor the beach with ladies sunbathing. But I did get a one-day plane tour in the VIP waiting lounge. I couldn't stop fiddling with the card Liu Ryan gave me. Is this really a card? Is this the capital for WE startup? By the way, how much is in there? 50 million, 50 million. Such a familiar figure. Isn't this the kind of sum I'd only get after working from the Qing dynasty's jacking era? Are you sure this isn't your wedding startup fund? It's the savings I've put together over the past 2 years. That's my husband fund. Such hot money. I quickly returned it to Liu Ryan. Liu Ryan, in her usual domineering style, shoved it back at me. Just take it. Don't ask so many questions. Is there some secret you're hiding? If I take it, how are you supposed to get married? I've never seen someone go so far for their friend. 2 knives in the ribs. You don't even have a boyfriend. Marriage isn't something to rush. You and Zhan Yang broke up that quickly. I spoke so fast. My voice cracked with urgency. You're overthinking. I only used the excuse of a blind date to meet him. Seeing me still confused, Liu Ryan explained, his family has a property for sale. It's in high demand, but he couldn't go to work those days, so I took care of it for you. I widened my eyes in shock. So he still kicked me out? He was teasing you. Otherwise, why do you think I would be here? Wait a minute. Let me sort this out. So Liu Ryan and Zhan Yang weren't dating? It was just a business deal. And Liu Ryan's marriage savings are all invested in me? I suddenly felt a weight of debt pressing on me, like I owed £1,000. Why are you doing all this for me? I've been slowly simmering this porridge for over 20 years. Because I couldn't bear it. So I haven't even taken a sip. What porridge takes 20 years to cook? At that moment, Liu Ryan's gaze softened, becoming unexpectedly tender. You can't just let someone come in and take it all away at the end. That was the first time I heard someone express their feelings with porridge as a metaphor. It was the first time I heard someone use porridge to metaphorically describe a guy like that. I was still recovering from Liu Ryan's subtle confession when she suddenly started questioning me again. So why wasn't your name on the blind date list you gave me? Why is it that Mr. Liu only gives me this small salary? You're still trying to steal my off hours and make me go on blind dates? You're such an evil capitalist. Don't even think about it. Fine then, if that's the case, then you can stop being my subordinate. I had a vague sense of what Liu Ryan was about to say next. Officially, as your CEO, I'm notifying you that you've been fired. Fired by the boss? But boss is the one handing me my savings to start a company? I went back to the office to handle my resignation procedures and to transfer my assistant duties. But as soon as I entered the office, my colleagues surrounded me. Wu, assistant, you weren't really fired by Mr. Liu, right? Did Mr. Zhan pressure Liu to fire you? Assistant Wu, you're leaving? Liu, you have to take care of yourself too. I silently packed up my things, and my colleagues only got more animated, discussing nonstop around me. It wasn't until Liu Ryan showed up that it went quiet. I looked at Liu Ryan. I raised my proud head again. If I leave, this whole company is going to fall apart. Just manage your company. I don't need to worry about it. Whoa, assistant, you're opening a company? My colleagues, who were still trying to figure things out, were dumbfounded. I raised my head proudly again. If I leave, this company is definitely going to fall apart. Just manage your own company. Don't worry about mine. Whoa, assistant, you're starting a company? The colleagues, who were still clueless, were completely stunned. They couldn't even understand what was going on. But the drama took another twist. Liu Ryan took the box from my hands, and with the other hand, she grabbed mine, leading me into the elevator. The elevator doors slowly closed. From now on, Liu's company would never be helpless again. It had W's 5 teams. A 25-year-old woman registered a clothing company with full cash payment. Registered capital, 50 million RMB, without relying on her parents, without relying on her friends. All thanks to my boss, legal representative, Liu Ryan, majority shareholder, Wu Bikang. I'm the beneficiary. You're the scapegoat. This round, I'm guaranteed to profit. My smug expression was on full display. Don't get too happy too soon. If it goes bankrupt in a year, I'll be branded for life. But if I'm branded for life, at least I try. At least we worked hard for it. But if I go bankrupt, your husband's stake will go down the drain. Anyway, it was always meant for you. Do whatever you want with it. Having a girlfriend like this ... It's enough to secure wealth and status. On the day the clothing company was founded, Liu Ryan specially bowed down to take my place. Liu Ryan, could you smile a little? Be more cheerful, come on. There are so many people here, but Liu Ryan kept a frown on her face. WCEO Wu Bikang wasn't too happy. Sorry, I just can't smile. Liu Ryan refused to let up, keeping that sulky face. Don't make me delete you on the happiest day of my life. But Liu Ryan's sour expression still didn't change. How come your company has so many female models? This quarter, we're focusing on women's trendy fashion. Unlike your Liu's. I sneered. What's wrong? Still have the nerve to ask me? As a former employee, I have a few words to say. When the promotional period hits, all the models are the same handsome guys and beautiful girls. I'm already tired of seeing them. Someone's face turned even darker. Is my mouth picked from a sewage ditch? 1 year later, the luxury brand Liu's group ... double quotes ... with the niche fashion company they launched a grand fashion show. I designed the clothes. Liu Ryan provided the luxury goods. On the surface, it's a complimentary, win-win partnership. But in reality, the luxury brand is clearly outshining a fledgling clothing company. It's a mess for an industry still in its early stages. I was a small-time player. 6 rounds of preparation ... My talent for flattery known across the entire Liu's group. Before, I was timid, overly careful. I used to think twice before even stepping into Liu Ryan's office. Now, I walk in confidently. Liu, I'm here again. Now, my restless hands wander across Liu Ryan's face. This former employee, please show some restraint. Refusing was just a formality. I didn't really mean to reject you. It's just a typical move of a tsundere woman. Mr. Liu, you're being too distant. Although I'm not an employee of Liu City anymore, the bond of superior and subordinate still remains between us. We only have the diligent relationship of superior and subordinate. That was a really good question, a clever one, but I simply won't answer it. And then Liu Ryan, this pervert, took the opportunity to touch my hand. She even asked me if I was cold. I had finally encountered workplace sexual harassment. But for the sake of the vow I made at the beginning, I had no choice but to endure the humiliation. I calmly pulled my hand away. But Liu Ryan's actions became more and more outrageous. One angrily stood up and sternly scolded him, "Mr. Liu, do you really think this is acceptable?" Liu Ryan froze for 2 seconds, his gaze confused and vacant. But soon, he returned to his shameless nature. "Don't worry, he's in his office right now. He won't notice. Come here, give me a kiss." Liu Ryan grabbed the back of my head, leaning in to kiss me. I desperately dodged. "Mr. Liu, please don't do this. I have a family." But Liu Ryan, this scoundrel, wouldn't listen to me. When Vice President Zhao walked in, I was still in the midst of rejecting Liu Ryan's advances, struggling to resist. When I saw Vice President Zhao, I hurriedly pulled away, playing the victim. But Vice President Zhao didn't show any mercy. He directly exposed the situation. Unable to hold back, he mocked, "You two are really playing some twisted game, huh?" I gave Liu Ryan a playful but reproachful glance. "Mr. Liu, this can't happen again next time." Liu Ryan, ever the accomplice, responded with an okay gesture. Vice President Zhao wore a face full of disdain and helplessness. "I just brought the model list. Why do I have to endure this kind of suffering? The model list was such a great thing. I really need to take a good look at it." "Mr. Liu, I'll go ahead and drink to this." I was so engrossed in the list that I blurted out, "Spring looks so nice ... I quickly silenced myself. I could not say that. I secretly reminded myself, "We're both married now ... I need to be and composed." I cleared my throat. I elegantly tapped on the table. "In 3 minutes, I want all the information on this woman." "Isn't that polite enough?" Vice President Zhao rolled his eyes. He silently withdrew from the world between Liu Ryan and me. The tenderness in Liu Ryan's eyes was replaced with speechlessness. "I was just joking," I said with a smile. "You're so petty." "I'm not petty." Just as I was about to expose Liu Ryan's true nature, he quietly picked up the fashion show's planning document. The company collaborating on this show's costumes might need to be changed. I had no choice but to swallow my words. I was forced to admit that he wasn't petty, and I took the initiative to make it up to him in the office. Only then did I manage to calm him down. In this lifetime, I ended up with such a clueless wife. Sai, what can I do? Just make do, I suppose. Can I really just divorce her? The happiness of Liu Ryan's later years was promised to me. I can't just run away, right? So, boss, he finally got his wish, dating and marrying. End of the story.